Well, here's another check mark we can make on our bucket list. Wouldn't you agree, Stephanie?
Yes.
Been a lot of years since we were first introduced to this guy. More years for me than for you. That's obvious. But he's an American icon. He's a music icon, and the song, of course, he's most famous for, American Pie, is maybe one of the most influential and talked about songs in music history.
Probably, yeah.
But he's done a lot more than that, and now there's a Time Life project being put together. Please join us in welcoming the one and only Don McLean. Don, good morning.
Hi, how are you?
Doing great. Hey, man, thanks for doing this. We really appreciate it.
Well, I like Grand Rapids.
Well, we appreciate that, too.
Yeah, we like you.
Now, listen.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about the Time Life project, but I have to put myself in context. When I first heard you sing, it was in 1971, obviously, American Pie, and so I'm old enough to have heard it for the first time it was on the radio.
Wow, that's old.
That's super old,
Thanks,
right?
Don. Appreciate that.
No.
Now, here's the...
Well, for me, I'm kind of on the other end of the spectrum. My mother used to sing Vincent on occasion, like around the house. And when you're little, you don't know where songs come from. They just exist. And it wasn't until later in my life that I was listening to some sort of compilation that a friend of mine had made me, and that song came on, and I was scrambling to find out who it was. And she was just like, I don't know, I just burned a whole bunch of my parents' MP3s. So it was actually a very long time before I realized you were the one that was responsible for one of my favorite songs of my entire life.
There you go.
Now, did you know American Pie, though?
I did.
But she's a Vincent fan.
The same guy. The same guys that did Vincent did American Pie.
Yes.
She found that out
But
later.
you're one of the most incredible singer-songwriters. It was because of that moment, scrambling to find out who was in charge or was responsible for Vincent, that I did go down this Don McLean rabbit hole. That is a very nice rabbit hole to go down, by the way. You're a fantastic singer-songwriter. Yeah. I mean, you're second to none, and I just cannot... I'm chuffed to bits that I get the chance to talk to you.
Well, thank you. How nice. Thank you for saying that. That's very nice of you.
Now, listen, I have to defend you a little bit, because over the years, people are, they're berating you about, what American Pie means, and what did you mean by this, and what did you mean by that, right? And it's like trying to find out who killed Kennedy. It's like, what happened to artists being able to put a song out and then letting the audience make it their own? That's what artists have always said. Look, here, it means different things to different people. And I want to say, enough already. For crying out loud, there's college courses devoted to American Pie. Is that too much?
Yes, that's right. Well, that just shows you how pathetic college has got.
Yeah. But I mean, what a crazy... it was just crazy. It's like, yes, it's a great song, but for me, it's a great melody. It's got a great hook, and I love to sing it, and that's what it does for me.
I had to actually sing the entirety of it in my choir in high school.
There you go.
So
There
yeah.
you go. Jeez. Well, at any rate, we feel bad that you keep having to ask these questions. We're here with the great Don McLean.
Yes, I know that. I know my fans and friends wince every time I'm asked, thinking, oh my God, he's going to get that question again. And they're very sympathetic, and they will notice that I try to answer differently every time.
Yes.
Because I respect the fact that people just have to know. They have to know. And they have to ask me, and I understand it's a compulsion, and I respect that.
Well, you know what?
It's gracious of you. It really is.
No, I think it's. I don't want to use the word sinister. That's the wrong word. But I'm glad that you don't give the same answer. I'm glad every time I hear you respond and it's something different, I cheer. Yes, tell them something different. Jesus, leave it alone already.
That's also for the benefit of the listening audience who've heard me ask that question many times and have heard me answer it differently. So that at least they're not put to sleep.
Yeah.
And I'm not put to sleep because after a while, one thing about show business is that it can turn you into a machine. There are people that go on stage, and I would, play guitar and sing, and that have do the same show every night, and they say the same things between every song, and like one thing leads to the next, and if they miss a spot, it throws them off completely. See, I don't do that. I do a different show every night, and I have, sort of pride myself on having some control over my idiom rather than having a little piece of paper on my guitar. I don't like that.
Right.
Have you ever been compelled to lie when somebody asks you the same question again and again? Just make something, totally make something up. Be like, actually, that song was about my brother, and just move on from there.
I think that as I get older, I may start doing that.
and I hope.
I think I'm going to make up a complete fantasy.
Exactly.
I love it.
I want to believe that at some point in your career, when it got to that point, you did a set, you did a show, and you didn't play American Pie. That would be. I would love to be there that night. That's all I can say, just to see the looks on the faces.
I would never do that. I would never do that because people want to hear.
Yeah.
American Pie, Vincent crying, and I Love You So, Castles in the Air. They want to hear these songs that are very, very famous, and they pay a lot of money to come, so that would be really
yeah, you're right. That was just for me, Don. That was just for me. Don McLean is here with us. All right, we got to talk about the Time Life Project. I love these things, and I've loved them for years. And when I saw that we were going to talk to you, and it was about the Time Life, I'm thinking, man, they got to start doing this more often now. So, what can you tell us about the Time Life Project?
Well, it's 11 albums and 173 tracks, and there are hits on there. There's Crying and Since I Don't Have You and Castles in the Air. On the first two albums, Believers and Chain Lightning. When all these albums came back, though, I found a place to, release them. I mean, there's no more music stores. Hardly anybody buys CDs. All the formats are finished, pretty much. So... we have the record store in the sky, basically. Yeah. That's the place. And now, with this edition, everything I've ever done is available. There's probably 400 tracks.
Wow.
Other record companies and from the stuff I did at United Artists and so on. And not to mention there'll be television specials, and I even did a little thing about how to play the guitar, which is on there, and how I play the guitar, and some little tips for people who might want to sing and play guitar, stuff like that. So, but I'm not going to do that anymore. I just did it once. I've been wanting to do that for a while.
Well, listen, the other issue is, I just wrote an article about all our music venues going to have to close, and to not be able to see guys like you play and some of the other artists that we love. In fact, you know what? I don't want to talk about it because it'll drive me crazy. Listen, we know you're doing a lot of press for this, Don. We appreciate you taking the time. We're big fans. Keep fighting the fight, man. and hopefully we'll talk to you soon. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. It'll all be all right.